Hi there, folks. Nakia here at Rat and Cat, and the weather here in Skamania is sunny after a week of rain. So it's nice to get some good weather again. Although I appreciated the cool weather. I wanted to talk to you about a couple different things tonight, or several different things. First of all, I just had a heck of a day. You know, I've been working on a couple different shows for you here, videos, and one is about this waterfalls where people have died or been killed and or bodies dumped, and um, and I was mostly set to go with that, but then I got a I was asking the undersheriff some questions, and it looks like he can meet with me for an interview this next week, so I'm going to postpone that. And I had a couple other options, but then interesting thing, I was able to make contact with Billy, who is Austin Oldfield's mom. She reached out to me a couple weeks ago, and we spent a couple hours really this afternoon talking. And I was hoping to post that video this afternoon too, but then something was happening or acting up with the file system on my camera and computer, and I got it straightened out, but it was too late to post it. So yeah, uh, good to see you, Bone Priest. Thanks for tuning in. Uh, it's Yeah, so, but it was fascinating information. With the Austin Oldfield case, there have been so many different discoveries since I first started. And somebody was just asking on the first episode, isn't this map wrong for different than where Austin was last seen than what we see on this site? And I think he pulled up a site on Facebook. I think it was probably from his sister's site. But um, when I first started on the Austin Oldfield story, all I knew about were the flyers. And I reached out to the sheriff's office, but they'd either been too busy or whatever. I know a lot of people are suspect of people making videos. There's some crazy people out there. And so they hadn't gotten back to me until I was, I don't know, a number of episodes in. I think maybe even 5 to 8 episodes in could have been. Um, so I was just doing the best guess and word of mouth of where people were, where Austin in the last scene, and it's the general area, and but it is off a little bit. But talking with his mom, there were so many interesting things that I hadn't heard about, and I'm going to save those, so that aloha, Atari. Good, thank you for tuning in. I always appreciate your comments. Um, and yeah, it's what was I saying? Oh yeah. Um, hey Jordan, glad you could tune in too. Um, yeah, the I'm gonna save most of what she has for later. There's a lot that she wants to straighten out from her perspective, and I yes, it's fascinating. The one thing though that I think is very interesting is that um, she reached out. Well, actually, the sheriff's department there in Kentucky, where she lives and Austin Oldfield is from, is reached out to her to get a DNA test. Her and her, I think it's her ex-husband, um, and so I am very curious about that. What it's been over 2 years now later. Does that mean that they found something? And I don't know, but I'm very curious. They could be just doing, following through with procedure, but that's, ugh, yeah. I could speculate all I want, but it seems like 2 years later is quite a bit later, is just for procedure. Also, this is kind of a off the topic here, but I apologize for the bad quality here. I am calling from out in the middle of nowhere, and uh, yeah, so my cell phone connection and internet connection and everything is horrible. Atari, yes, I have kept in touch with Pamela off and on, and it looks like she's been doing less with that. Oh, good. I'm glad it's looking okay. Um, I think that Pamela is uh, working more. Good to know, Bone Priest. Thank you for the update on the quality there too. It's and everybody else. Good. Glad you guys are getting it clear. Uh, the let's see here. Yeah, she's working on a personal project right now, and I don't know. I don't know what it's like to lose a family member, but I imagine it would be hard to just keep on going and searching endlessly. And his mom, I have to say, Billy did go out on a search this fall, and again, I'm going to save that for the video for her to tell you about. But that was interesting to me too, and I'm really looking forward to getting back up there. It was unfortunate this last summer that there was those forest fires that cut us off and totally changed our summer. But I'm just glad we're okay. I really feel for the people in Hawaii right now because I can't imagine what it would be like to have a lava spewing up in your backyard or over your house and those whole neighborhoods. I'm very concerned for them. And um, it's interesting though, searching up in the big lava beds here and looking at those formations, and I've always wondered how those formed because they're just so odd, and now I can see a little bit more how the layers overlapped to form those potholes where Zitzwitz went missing, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting back up there, but to be honest, those were some of the most miserable areas to search because those around those potholes where the streams flow backwards, apparently, not towards the river valley, but back into sinkholes. It stinks like death, like dead animals. Um, yeah, yeah, there are a lot of lava tubes here. Atari, it's yes, most of them. What's really great is that the lava tubes here in the Northwest are really solid compared to what's in Hawaii because Hawaii is really new, and so there's rocks. This is what I'm told, at least. The rocks are still falling off a lot, but these ones have been here for at least dozens of years, and so we don't have they're not as dangerous. Um, but these sinkholes there, yeah. So it smells bad, but more than that, it's the viney maples are this tight gridlock of vines and thick, 1 inch. They can anywhere from about that big to even small. But there's such a network; it's really difficult to climb through, and so you've got the smell, and not only are you climbing through this, but you're all of a sudden there'll be a sinkhole that drops. It could be 6 feet or 8 feet or even more, and even 6 feet if you just slipped, it'd be pretty hazardous because it's just a jumble of boulders, and then you can't hardly see down into there, so you'd almost have to crawl over these big piles of boulders to try to find any bones in the leaves, and if there were bones that fell in there from somewhere else, it would be really hard to discover. So um, and then some places I had to balance across logs to get across those. So it's challenging, but I think that's actually prime territory for somebody to go missing in. I'm also, I have to say, excited that this last week I was finally voted in onto the Wind River Search and Rescue team. So I'm officially a member now. I think I can say. Um, yeah, that's right. Atari compass readings there are a problem too. My compasses have mostly been on in the lava bed. It's just my electronic devices. My electronic compass has a hard time. Uh, Thank you, Jordan and Bone Priest. Appreciate that. Calibrating. And SM Mahara 1. Thank you too. Yeah, it's more my electronics compass. It works, but it just doesn't fully calibrate. And thanks, Barbara. Uh, it my drone, I've noticed, and anything GPS related in the lava bed seems like the range has really decreased a lot. I might have noticed a little bit of compass variation in a couple of places, but not as strong as I had hoped. not not really hope. I'm glad it was off, but I've always looked for something just crazy happening. I think the craziest has actually been in the yard, which we are. Bread and circus. What happened regarding which part? Um, uh, So yes, I'm excited about being on the search and rescue team, and how that works. Um, oh, did I find Austin? No, but I had an interview with his mom, and as I okay, the stream cut for a minute there. So I didn't find Austin, but his mother has been caught. I had a long conversation with his mom, and she said that she and her ex-husband have been contacted for a DNA test, and so I'm wondering if the sheriff's office has found that. And how search and rescue works and this channel works, I'm searching, cold cases, not, but they're still unsolved cases. So um, they're open, and I can't. There's a lot of access that I'm not privy to, and on a search and rescue team, you're just expected to not ask questions, and you shouldn't be, because then you become more liable to be taken. I mean, become a witness in court. It's really none of our business. You go out and do the search, and I'm looking forward to going out on my first search, but I won't really be covering those on this channel for the most part, unless there's some special circumstances or but I have a hard time imagining that. But I'll be talking about my experience, but especially not specifics. Although most specifics, um, mm, um, it would if I was going out on a search and rescue. Somebody was asking, how does it affect searching for Austin and Zitzwitz? And I am not representing the search and rescue team. I'm doing this independently, and so yeah, that does. I know I've had to really think about that myself, um, uh, and I yeah. So this channel is completely independent from that. I don't represent that, but I am documenting some of my experience, mainly training to search and rescue. But I haven't showed you a lot of the training actually because it's fairly boring, and sometimes it's just me sitting in a room and learning. Then I put off. There's a class about all the terms that just looks horrendous that I have to get on. It's for all the disaster, the hierarchy for search and rescue, and that doesn't look like fun at all. So but I got to get on that and a whole bunch of other and update my CPR and first aid and all of that. Okay, so um, I I was going down, yeah, to get shots of the local wall here. Um, I haven't. mm, Have you had a chance to get interviewed on local radio and news programs? I've sent them some press releases, but they nobody has responded to me. They respond to his and uh, yeah, for whatever reason, I've noticed that several of the stations have used. Um, yeah, I hear you there, Jordan. You need to update your CPR too. Um, yes. Um, Now I'm losing my train of thought again. I'm trying to keep up with comments and talking to you as well, which I'm tired this evening, and so that's always a challenge. Good to see you, Hiker Dave. Um, oh yeah, yeah. News organizations. They'll take the video off of my channel and they'll run it on the news without asking. And the times I've seen that, it's for Pamela's stuff, so I'm not going to complain about that. I'm glad that they can use that. I would have thought that they would have asked though, but it's not that big of a deal. I did find out that they did a whole article and write up in it in the Tri Cities, which I didn't know about. But I'm glad, that's all for the cause. And what's great is this thing's a lot bigger than me, and it's interesting to see how uh, doing this channel and you as participating have made this thing happen more, grow bigger. This search for Austin Oldfield and just awareness on this topic in general. Um, One thing, Cody was talking on my would love a new chapter on Oldfield. I'll keep watching the series and what actually happened thank you for that comment. I lost your username. But yeah, I do plan on getting another chapter out there as soon as the snow melts enough up there. But there's still snow. Should be coming down pretty soon though, within the next month. Um, but a friend of mine, Cody, and he also sponsors me on Patreon. Sent me a link and noted that in Palouse Falls in Central Washington, two a couple of people had fallen off of that, um, and great, Jay. I'll look for that email. Um, and I was reading in the article, I think they said about 5 people fall off Palouse Falls every year, and so I've done that video on people falling off cliffs. So um, when you're out there, I just thinking to myself, I think, oh, a bunch of people have here. There's no railings, this is probably safe and stuff, but it's actually pretty crazy. So and the number 2 cause of death. So just be careful when you're out there. Yeah, so I'll be working on. I'll be probably the interview with Billy is what I'll be putting out there next. The one about the waterfalls. Uh, and then another one that I can't read in my notes. But also, I wanted to know what you guys think about Patreon. I don't expect everybody to support me on Patreon financially, but I am putting up more content over there. Just some comments here and there, and I want to be doing more of that about what I'm doing behind the scenes, and some little video clips. And in Zitzwit's case, I got the idea that the LE was suspicious of his friend's statement about the events. What is your take on that? He's cleared all of their. So that's all I know. And I talked to him briefly, and I asked him to get me some information, the coordinates of his exact where exactly what was left off, and it wasn't there in the information the sheriff gave me. That wasn't there for the exact coordinates. I thought it was in there, but I have a fairly accurate description of where he was at. But I'm just not sure if that information was lost, and I'm still looking into that and trying to figure that out. So, uh, but again, they don't share everything that's going on because those are ongoing investigations. But that's it. That's the news from Scamania here, and Rat and Cat. And thanks for that feedback. Patreon is an awesome platform. Yeah, it's been really revolutionary. I people were talking. What's the uh, one of my supporters was saying, what is the best way to support you? Is it YouTube Red, um, or just watching, or Patreon? And Patreon really the best point is if you do feel like supporting is the best. So thank you, Hiker Dave, for tuning in too. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I know I talk about the scary things, and there are a lot of other stories. I'm going to do an episode just on wild stories around here coming up soon here. Wild stories of the things that of what happened. I do have PayPal, but I haven't been using it much. I could put that out there. That's a good suggestion. Um, but there are a lot of interesting and alarming ways that go people missing. And this falls is one of the things that's made me really think about that and how self-defense should also just be a key tool when you're out in the wilderness. But if you're being safe and being self-aware, uh, it's just so much fun. And most of you are all who else this channel love being out there. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and are able to get outside. That was up in that area where I saw that giant cougar scat. There's actually one of my neighbors has video of this giant cougar there, so I'm gonna hopefully show you that and do some more Bigfoot stuff and the Mach 360 searches and stuff. So and stuff. Yeah, that's it. See you, mosquito, and everybody else. Atari, thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.